Yo, what up, Street Dogs? There, Camera the Thought. So, how to retire, or in praise of a kind of more of like a ghetto lifestyle. So, I think the funny thing is, everyone has this false notion of success in America and everywhere, and it's funny because the word prestige, you know, like there's that movie that came back a while back called The Prestige. The basic notion of prestige is interesting, is that like in Latin it actually means kind of a trick or foolery, or like to dazzle people and to confuse people. And so the notion of prestige is interesting because prestige ain't real, which means, you know, every time somebody is trying to seem prestigious, or, you know, wear fancy clothes or drive a fancy car or whatever, typically everyone is fronting or faking, like what they say. So why does everyone front? Because honestly, everyone's just kind of insecure. Like, you know, even all these like, you know, streetwear kids, you know, like who wear like Supreme and $100 cotton t-shirts, or like even people who drive expensive cars or wear fancy stuffs, whatever. Everyone's just kind of insecure. And I think the way that fashion, consumerism, capitalism works is, what we're really buying is confidence. So I think once we understand that, we could actually better understand everything else in comparison. So understanding that we're being marketed confident, like, you know, you think about beauty products for both men and women, right? What are they trying to sell us? Confidence, right? And what does everyone lack? Confidence, right? And so, you know, you wear this, you know, this Rolex watch, everyone's gonna think you're so cool or whatever, or you get the Panerai, or you get the, you know, whatever cool watch it is. You know, you drive the Lambo, you drive the Mercedes, you drive the Beamer, whatever it is. And even for women, right? Like women, you know, you're trying to get some sort of weird beauty products, and marketing best works actually when you feed on people's insecurities. And to me, it's you know, I personally don't really like it, because what we should be doing is, you know, not placating to people's lack of self-confidence as a way to sell them shit, but rather, I don't know, like, I like the idea that all of us as humans, we could all thrive collectively together, rather than like, you know, just trying to like nickel and dime people based on people's insecurities. And actually the interesting thing is, even in my workshops, by far my bread and butter workshops is the Conquer Your Fears workshop in street photography. And the reason why I think it's so effective is because fear is the number one thing actually holding us back. And I really do think that in the world, if we all became a little less fearful, we'd be happier and more productive and generative of art and everything in between. And that's actually typically what holds us back. Like, for example, you want to move, you want to travel, you want to do X, Y, and Z. It's fear of losing your stuff, losing your comfort, losing this, you know, stability. And I don't know, I think this is the only life we're gonna live. I don't personally believe in an afterlife or whatever. So that means if this is the only empirical reality that exists, you know, I think a lot of people get terrified by the notion, because then a lot of people, you're kind of squandering your life and you're kind of pursuing shit that you don't really care for. And therefore, as a consequence, what happens? You know, you're on your deathbed and you die with a lot of regrets. And so, you know, people give Jeff Bezos a lot of shit, but I personally admire him because, you know, his notion of the regret minimization framework is quite robust. The basic gist is, live your life, imagine yourself on your deathbed, and just kind of ask yourself, what would you regret not doing or not pursuing in your life? Imagine yourself on your deathbed at age 90. And so then what it means is, don't pursue a life where you're just trying to maximize your wealth or whatever. Pursue a life of the maximal interest of fun. I like to think of it like fun entrepreneurship. Like my homeboy Soren Zane Aldrich says, like, how do we even make photography more fun? This is what we're trying to do with ours. arsbeta.com, arsbeta.com. We're also currently working on a mobile app that's called Ars Alpha, which will come out maybe in the next year or two. So the basic gist is, life is long, but you're gonna die. Why, try to build a quadrillion, bajillion dollar company if you're not gonna have fun doing it? If it's not fun doing, it's not worth doing. And so, so I think in life, just do more shit that you're actually interested in, do less shit you're not interested in. And I think this is the best way to live life, because too often in life, you're kind of suckered into thinking that you want to do X, Y, and Z, and you're actually passionate about it, but you're actually not. And what happens as a consequence? You use your super valuable, short, uncertain life doing shit that you don't care about, and then once you're on your deathbed, you have a life full of regrets. And I think, that's just regret minimization framework, a very robust way to live. The best type of success is, this is where I get from Nassim Taleb. I think he said this at his one of the graduation speeches he gave at the University of Beirut, I think the American school. I'm not sure which school it was, but imagine looking at yourself when you're age 18. What would your 18-year-old self think about yourself today? And if your 18-year-old self will look at you with pride, then perhaps you're successful. If not, then maybe not. So the reason why age 18 is typically that's before we get corrupted by the system. And even I can speak for myself. I've only been employed by an employer for 10 months. It fucking took me 10 years to unlearn the 10 months of bullshit that I was indoctrinated with. And the word indoctrinate comes from doxa, I think, knowledge or teaching. So what is the best life? I think the best life is the life with the minimum amount of bullshit, the minimum amount of stress. And there's also good stress. They call it eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S. Eu, like eudaimonia, it means good in ancient Greek. So pursue less of the bullshit that you don't really care for, and only do what you love.